All right, here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Project Creation. We are live on Twitch. The topic of today is caravans, ladies and gentlemen. What do you know so much about the caravans, or like, have you experienced much about the caravans already in the tests at all?
Um, I've seen them move in the test. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, I just like I've been trying to do since I started doing this podcast with you. I've been trying to not learn too much about these topics. That way, I can you can see my raw reactions to everything
Right.
when we're in here. So I vaguely know what it does, and I have a good idea of how roughly what it's going to do, but I don't know. No. So yeah, I'm excited to find out if what I think is accurate.
Yeah. Because there's so many. We really didn't get a test that much. I was trying to do this latest test in the week I think it was on Thursday, this last one. And I was trying to get a caravan, and I couldn't get one, man. It like the resource costs for them are really high, and you need to have gold, and you need to have resources, or you need to have essence that you can purchase the caravan with. But like it's like over 200, and you'll at least need like 100 gold base just to start with. So I mean, I know that that's going to all be tested out, but I really wish I actually got to try the caravans out. But yeah, I didn't get to
Right.
try
Yeah.
one
It
yet.
seemed like only the organized guilds were able to pool all their resources up enough to
Yeah.
send out a caravan, and then they let's say they wasted their money.
Yeah, I know. What with all like the bugs and stuff getting caught on rocks? What's going on, Nano?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about caravans today. If you want
Yeah.
to chime in, give your 2 cents. So have you ever like experienced a caravan system in an MMO, or ever like heard of a caravan system?
Not like this is. I mean, I'm sure there's been some like I don't know quests where you protect a caravan or something in
Right.
some MMO I don't think that there's really a real good parallel for what this system is in any game, MMO or not. I don't think I've ever
Right.
seen one like this.
Yeah, I haven't
So
seen
so
one
no.
too intricate. Yeah, I'm wondering too, like you said with the quests, like I've definitely played. I even think it was in Guild Wars too, where I played caravans that you have to like kind of move about the land and stuff like that. But it was never anything that was solely based on trading and moving goods around
Right.
Vera. So
Yes, yes.
it's going to be pretty interesting in how that all fleshes out in the end game and at launch and whatnot. But caravans exist in the open world. They are vessels for transporting goods around Vera primarily. That's like the whole premise of the caravans. There's 3 different types of caravans, which I thought was pretty interesting. So you're gonna have your mayoral caravan, your quest-driven caravans, and then self-driven caravans, which will be you. Um, do you think like caravans are gonna be kind of taken further than that? Do you feel like they're just gonna use 3 different types of caravans? Thanks, Nano, for the follow. Appreciate it, man. Do you feel like they're gonna
Yeah.
use the 3 different caravans as like the whole pillars to the caravan system, or do you think they're gonna kind of build pillars off of this and make it so that there's gonna be all different types of ways to transport goods that's all through the caravan system?
Man, I really don't know. Um yeah, that's a really good question, but I don't know. I'm sorry, I was trying to text a couple of my friends
Oh,
to let
you're
them know
good,
that
man.
we're going live. They always want to know, when we're going live.
Yeah, dude, send
Um,
it out. Send it out.
yeah. But yeah, I don't really know. Like like I said before, I kind of understand what's going on with the caravan system, but
Hmm.
I didn't want to have too much information going into it. You know what? Ask that question again at the end after
Yeah.
we get a lot of information about what it's going to be, and I'll answer it. How about that?
Yeah, fair enough. Mayoral caravans launched by mayors to establish trade routes in a node or with another node. Trade agreements, this comes through a trade agreement for goods and stuff. Mayors are able to initiate quest-driven systems that non-citizens can participate in, which is pretty interesting. The mayor can use node's treasury or goods as rewards for the quest completion of this from the quest that he gives to establish this, which I thought was a really cool way to kind of use the tools as the mayor to kind of influence the node. You know, like you'll get a shitty mayor that won't give you a good reward, but like if you're running quests to establish trade routes for your node, and the mayor's the main driver of that, you know, I feel like the rewards can be monumental depending on the node, you know?
Right. So I'm going to make sure that I understand this correctly. In order to establish a trade route between two nodes, the mayor has to set up a trade route, and then he's got to pay people like essentially to defend or escort the caravan.
So he's
okay.
Mm-hmm.
What happens once the trade route is established? What's the benefit of that?
So now this opens up all caravans to run the route. You need to what the trade route does is it creates a road basically from this node to node A to node B. And it's through the mayor. If the mayor doesn't do it, then your node's not going to have roads from that side. It could happen on a different node, them sending roads to you, and that's how the road gets established. But if you want to initiate it as the mayor, you have to actually do the quest and run that first caravan of that road to establish that trade route, so to speak. Okay. Which then they can give you rewards based on their treasury and other things like that. So pretty interesting.
And so until that's done, like I couldn't do a self-driven caravan at all, or there just wouldn't be roads.
There wouldn't be roads. So I don't know yet. It didn't specify that, but I want to say that you could probably do an off-road caravan to somewhere, you know, because that kind of doesn't. You still need a node per se to actually drop off the goods, but you don't necessarily need to have the actual roads to travel on it. You know, it just makes it so that you can travel faster on the roads, and we'll get into roads and all that stuff too. But there's a lot of benefits to establishing roads and establishing them fast too.
Okay.
Players will be able to interface with the node to view quests that are available to them from the mayor. So they can actually see these quests come up, and then they can participate in completing the quest.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Just on the front of like how you actually obtain the quest, you know, you do it through an interface. Next type of caravan is going to be the quest-driven caravans, which is pretty essential when leveling up your node, because you're going to be able to get a lot of experience from these and a lot of goods to actually level up the individual buildings or the resources to gather or that are gathered to actually put into the node and build up the foundation. But quests are system driven, which players can launch at different times and routes, initiates a PvP objective. So this is where you're going to be able to actually engage and fight in the caravan, which it didn't really talk about fighting mayoral caravans, which I'm guessing that's still going to be a thing.
Well, yeah, if he's going to have to pay people to escort it, I mean, certainly.
Right, yeah. The higher the node, the stronger the caravan, and the faster the speed by default.
Okay.
And when you initiate, go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking about the speed of the caravans that we did get to see. I mean, I know they were kind of broken, so it's, you know, kind of irrelevant, but they were kind of fast. They weren't like. Did you see one?
No, I did see one, and they were kind of just like jumping on it and getting it all set up to move. They were trying to like attach their horse to it, but then I just kept running. I didn't actually get to watch and see.
Okay. The
Um,
the one I saw went kind of fast for just a minute and basically hit a bad spot and toppled over, and then it was like stuck there. So I was like,
mm,
okay, Caravan's not what we're testing here. That's
yeah.
not, they need plenty of work. So I'm going to move on. Triple plays asking, will fighting caravans affect node growth or loss?
Um, yes, they will. They will directly affect that, I would say, just because
Okay.
if you stop a node's caravans, you're stopping their resources to grow, essentially. So
Okay.
if you don't attack them, then they're not going to be hindered in any aspect of the rate at which they're growing. You know, because there's going to be a lot of resources required to build special buildings all on the nodes, to build guild halls, to build barracks,
Uh-huh.
to build anything. So that main trade through that node is all based through the caravans. I mean, you got your mules and such, and players going to be able to walk it there, you know, safely. But the actual abundance of goods being transported throughout the world is all. It almost really reflects and directly influences every node because as a network, you know. Because if you got
Right.
nodes trading and trading and trading, and then you got other nodes kind of sabotaging and blocking them off, then you almost have like a political stance in this. You know, I know it's
Uh-huh.
also a PvP stance in this, and you're actually fundamentally stopping what they're doing, but there's a lot of political stuff coming from it too. You know, and
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
and different people can be paid off, different guilds can be hired to protect caravans as they move throughout the world. So I mean,
Nice.
a lot goes into it to be able to actually, you know, get this whole network going. But it's really the mode for transportation amongst anything else.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So me, Mr. Girthquake is asking, any word of breeding slash selecting mounts, especially for caravans or specifically for caravans.
yes, you will definitely be able to do that. Um,
Okay.
Caravan components obtained from crafters will have stats according to the skills of each artisan. And we'll go into the artisanships of what you can kind of craft and stuff for the caravans. But mounts
Right.
bred through animal husbandry profession can be applied to as certificates towards the construction of caravans. So you breed it, you get it as a certificate, then you can apply it to the caravan as it's being built or started.
Okay.
So it's pretty interesting.
Um, right. Yeah. I didn't know much about the animal husbandry system, and I did a YouTube video someday this week where I talked about exploration. And my personal favorite thing about exploring the map so far has been um, that the starter horse is fast. Like
Mm-hmm.
the starter horse feels like a horse instead of like you
Yeah.
walk 5% faster or
Yeah.
whatever, like
Yeah.
it is in
Yeah.
every other.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
you
so
can
then a bunch of people.
sprint too. You can sprint with it too.
Yes, the sprint was, and it was fast, it lasted a good while, and it
Yep.
had a short enough cooldown that like felt like you were moving on the map. So
Right.
I was really happy about that. And I had a bunch of people jump in my comment section and point out that with animal husbandry, there's going to be, you're going to be able to breed
Crossbreed.
horses with
Mm-hmm.
traits for speed and traits for, strength or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, oh my goodness, animal there. I knew animal husbandry was in the game in the back of my mind, but I didn't know, just like the caravans. And I was like, oh my goodness. So that's going to be like a whole other thing. And are we going to be, taming like raising like bears and animals to fight with and stuff. I don't know, but
Yeah.
anyway, yes, that's a cool system. Also, Triple Play says mercenary caravan protection guilds sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And I believe we mentioned that in one of our previous podcasts that I had said that I was 100% certain that there were going to be guilds that become established, that their primary function, like they'll become known as like elite mercenary caravan protection guilds. I knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I agree with the Triple Play.
Yeah. The whole mercenary system fundamentally is just so cool. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
more you can do with it, especially during like sieges and sending caravans out during sieges and stuff, and assigning different mercenaries to players to kind of guard them as well as caravans. So there's a lot of intricacies with merchant or mercenaries and
Right.
the level or the strength they are and the different types they are that you can hire. So very cool. So Stephen goes in a little bit here with a quote. When you initiate a caravan, you're going to be able to determine the resources the caravan is going to have in it. You're going to be able to determine whether or not the caravan has been initiated for a specific quest in a nearby node. You're going to be able to deliver goods for trade, or to just warehouse in a new region so that you have access to the local market, which I thought was very, very interesting. And it almost makes it so that you do quests between nodes to kind of get access to their goods and the goods you're bringing in their market and stuff like that. So
Right. Right.
that's just
Um,
interesting, man.
it's very interesting. Like the primary thing, or my primary understanding of what caravans were, whenever like I said, I just looked real, cursory glance at it. Um, was essentially you're going to have a fairly limited carry weight in juxtaposed with uh how much materials things
Mm-hmm.
take to make and do, especially from the perspective of leveling up the node or building houses or stuff like that. And so, since that's the case, um, in order to get materials from one place or another on any type of a scale, you're going to have to use caravans.
Yes.
And so, and not only that, but resources are biome locked. So if you're in a desert, there's like in a lot of MMOs, they might have a desert biome, but there'll be trees around. That way anybody who happens to be doing or carpentry or whatever will have access to trees. Well, in
Right.
this game,
Some palm
it's not gonna
trees.
be no damn trees.
Right.
Yeah, there are not gonna be no damn trees in the desert. You're gonna have to send caravans into the forest area or from the forested areas to the desert areas. But by the same token, maybe there's a two or three types of ore or iron or rock or something
Right.
that's only available in the desert that the forest can't get. And so we're gonna have to be sending those things back and forth like that. And I think it's gonna be um,
Interesting. Yeah.
yes, a
Like
whole other. It's like it could be a game by itself
it can.
almost.
Yeah. And I want players to take note that, like, as you guys take nodes and level up your node and choose your node, you have to kind of understand the biome you're in and
Hmm.
what resources you're going to be available to, and it kind of almost it influences what the node's going to specialize in. So, like, if they are in the
Yep.
desert, maybe they will have access to oil or something, some type of resource that doesn't exist anywhere else. So you guys will have an
Hmm.
abundant of that. So then that's where your guys is you'll make your profit and trade, is sending that to remote locations and regions that need that stuff, that you need to establish as the mayor with your trade routes and with your roads to be able to turn that profit. But on the contrary, you're not going to have the wood. You're not going to have, you know, snowy mountains by you in the desert, or whatever
Right.
that biome may encompass. So you're going to actually have to buy things at a higher price, So that whole mentality of uh, buy low, sell high, you're going to just have to really, and if you want to actually make money on it, and being able to actually use the markets of the nodes, you're going to want to establish this and want to turn a profit. So there's so much incentive behind that. I love that they kind of created organically just based on the biomes. That's going to really dictate how the world's made up just on goods alone.
Yeah. No, there's no question that it's going to really, really shape and influence the world. Um, I believe I mentioned this before on a different topic, but I'll kind of reiterate it again. Um, I used to play Lord of the Rings online, and I played it quite a bit when it very, very first came out. And one of the things I personally really, really liked about that game was they actually had it set up where, let's say you're a weaponsmith, and that's what you do is you make weapons. Well, the handles of weapons are typically made out of wood,
Mm-hmm.
and you couldn't you couldn't like just make a sword because you gathered iron ore. You needed wood, and so that means you needed a carpenter or a lumberjack or whatever to, I forget what this skill was called, but you know, you needed
Right.
somebody who was going out and chopping down trees and then and they would make the handle piece, and then you would combine the handle piece with the weapon piece to make the sword. And by the same token, you know, a lot of carpentry needs, you know, whatever nails or whatever metal, and so it forced that interdependency between the crafts. Now, eventually, they got rid of that because of player complaint, because everybody wants to do everything by themselves. And I imagine there will be people who complain about that in this game,
Yeah.
but it's too baked into the DNA of the game. Like they are trying to create both competition and cooperation from the player base and force interaction with other players. So I don't think they'll ever get rid of it.
Yeah.
Uh, and when you do that, I mean, I think you're exactly right. Like the people in the desert are going to have access to the oil, and so um,
Or sandstone or some resource,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, theoretically, we don't know they'll have access to oil. We're
right.
speaking hypothetically
Whatever
here,
may be in
but
the
yeah, they'll have
desert.
access to the oil, and so, but you know, in the forest town, they're going to need the oil to run some machine or you know whatever, I don't know, and
Right.
so so then you know you have caravans going from the forest into the desert, bringing lumber and wood, and then you have caravans from the desert going into the forest bringing the oil. Um, and that could you know there could be a level 6 like scientific node in the middle of the desert that's like a you know petroleum export, like that's what they do, you know what I
It's
mean,
like
and they
Dubai.
export it all over the world, yeah, like Dubai,
Yeah.
yes. They
They
export
got
it
all
all
the
over the
best
world.
cars, all the best caravans and all that. Best horses
Yes,
and all
yeah.
that. Oh man.
Yeah. So that could, I mean, that could happen, and I think that's one of the really cool things about the game, and it's another
Yeah.
one of the things that I think is going to make uh, that's going to keep people interested, because the game won't be so predictable every single day when you log in. So
Yeah,
uh,
I think honestly that's probably my favorite part about the game is the interdependencies it's going to create between the artisanship
mhm, mhm.
and really make it kind of scarce and abundant in different regions, you know, based on the
Yep,
resource.
right,
That's probably my favorite thing, honestly. Um,
right, yeah. Like imagine if, okay, let's say that you know oil, and we're just going to use oil because it's funny at this point to talk about it this
yeah.
way, but let's say oil is only available on one of the two continents,
Hmm. The big
and
sand
so
area, big desert area.
yeah, yeah, the big desert area,
Yeah.
yeah. And so you know, you may find a city that's a fair distance away from the oil node, wherever the oil is, from the sand area, that gets regular shipments of oil in from, you know, caravans or whatever,
Right.
and you live on the other continent, and you could charter to have a caravan bring that oil from the other side all the way across the water, and that gets into the whole naval system and the nautical, all that stuff that goes along with that, and charter and have it brought all the way to the other island, and like it could quadruple the value if you could get it local and say
Right.
here's oil here in our space instead of you know all the way over there or whatever. So you know that could be how somebody makes money, is chartering those caravans from one island or one continent to the other.
Yeah.
That's very possible.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be players that just solely focus on running caravans as traders, you know, just because of
Mm-hmm.
how much they can profit from it, too. And that can be even incentivized from the mayors, you know, running more higher reward caravans to remote locations to eventually maybe get a higher profit from them because they're paying so high for it to come there, you know. They can
Right.
that he can use the treasury, or he or she can use the treasury goods or whatever goods, you know, to influence that to make um, people want to go that far, really, you know. There's just so much
Mm-hmm.
incentive behind doing this that I just think that it's gonna just it's almost just gonna be like water spreading across, you know, or veins spreading across the whole land. So
Right.
it's
Right.
very interesting. So we'll get into personal caravans. Self-directed and player-driven. There only can be one driver to the actual player caravan or single caravan. Personal caravans will come in varying sizes and capacities. By default, player caravans will have a racial appearance that influences the types of animals that move the actual caravan. So like if you're a orc or renkai per se, you'll have an alligator naturally moving and running your caravan, and the whole theme behind it's going to be renkai theme based
Right.
before you actually get each caravan to apply your skin to it. These caravans will become trade ships in water. So as we talked a little bit about this in the naval caravans, or in the naval episode we did, but naval caravans will eventually have a transitioning point, and we'll get into that. And then this can be initiated from a node NPC, as we kind of seen in the tests and played in the tests. I think self-driven caravans are really, really cool because you can kind of set them at different. It doesn't really matter when you're going to do it. There's no one's going to know you're going to be doing your caravan. You just do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be
Yep. You just go.
hard to track because you don't necessarily have to take the road. You can go
Right.
off road, and I feel like that's where you're going to see a lot of people moving from like caves and different mining places or different places where they actually gather resources and move them via underground basically to the node before they can even get sawed at or touched. I think that's like a main thing for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no question. As soon as you said there were self-driven caravans, I was like, okay. I almost feel like that's just going to become the meta. Like nobody will. I don't know about nobody, but it will. Very few will hire caravans or have the other type of caravan unless it's like for a quest or for them to establish the trade routes or whatever.
Right.
Because it'll be so much easier to just have your whole guild, especially if you're a artisan focused guild. You could have your whole guild, mine out a big ass mine and then just hop in a caravan and go right then and not announce it, and your whole guild's protecting you, and you just do it that way, and instead of announcing, by the way, we're gonna be moving tons of valuable goods right across this area at this specific time. Please don't attack us.
I know.
So yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to be like on the freaking alert, man, about moving that stuff, especially because I feel like that's going to be your bread and butter as you build your node, at least for the caravans and getting it to your node. You're going to find these big abundances of ore or whatever you find, and then your really like main goal is to just make sure that gets home so that you can use those resources, or you could trade them or whatever you want to do with them, put them in the guild bank. But yeah, like I feel that if players are going to do caravans, they're going to be doing a lot of caravans. At least the crafters and gatherers and are going to be doing caravans that are just self-driven primarily.
Right. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, does that mean that there are going to be roving bands of PKers for lack of a better term who kind of go from resource hotspot to resource hotspot?
It could be
from
known
that mine to that,
It could be.
and all they're doing is just waiting to find some dumb artisan who's trying to come out of the woods with a caravan just chock full of all kinds of different types of wood and stuff, and they're like, yoink.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
They just like he spends 3 hours mining and then he comes out to build his caravan and it instantly gets disintegrated. Yeah, right. Probably. I think that's probably pretty common,
Okay.
I don't know.
Dubai desperados.
yeah. I don't know if right. I don't know like the initiating the time. Like I feel like there should be a delay before players can attack it, so you don't just zerg all the mines and all that shit before you can. People are just waiting out for you to just come out, and I feel like that just kind of ruins the crafting and artisan system if they're just constantly getting ganked every time they try and do something.
Right. I mean, from my experience in Ultima Online, way back before they made it Super Care Bear, I mean, I would say 20% of the time that I would go out to the mines to mine out stuff, and I would spend hours in the mines getting ore.
Right.
I would say about 20% of the time I would get jumped by somebody. So
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine it's, you're definitely going to get jumped by some people. Um, and that's you only drop a percentage of the resources you have on you. But if you're making the caravan, what about a caravan? If you take somebody's caravan, do you get all the resources off of it?
No, you only get a portion. You only get the percentage.
Okay.
And then the other
Okay.
percentage sinks into the ground. So, but it's really cool. And I might as well just jump to it. So when you attack the actual caravan, there's going to be hints from what the caravan is carrying. You're not going to know like solely what the
Oh,
caravan's carrying. So
right.
you'll get like hints of like, oh, there's some ore and they got some wood on it, and then they got some like potions or something. And it's because all the different varying goods of a caravan can be multiplayered, put in, like everybody can kind of, well, not everybody, but multiple players can contribute to this caravan to move their goods. It doesn't necessarily have to be just one guy. It's
Oh, and that reminds me, that's we're talking about caravans as if it was resources only. It's not. You may have a merchant who's
yes,
trying to send a huge batch of swords
or
for sale
gold or
to the
whatever.
or yeah, or to the most to the like closest economic node or whatever.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's
So
goods,
yeah,
not just
yes,
resources.
yeah, not just resources. Yeah, that's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, and as you hold on,
It
players will need
sounds
to.
a lot like bandits holding up a train in the Wild West.
That's
Yes.
honestly what like I keep thinking about too. Like when I was
Hmm.
playing Red Dead
Hmm.
2, I'm like, man, the whole train scene. This is caravans. Like them just trying to rob the
Right.
train is going to be caravans. Uh,
Yep.
So a group will be required to kind of successfully attack a caravan. You're not going to just be able to just do it ones and twos and threes and thinking you're going to be able to do
Oh,
it.
okay.
You're going to
I'm
have to
wondering that.
like coordinate and actually take the thing down. The thing's got a lot of health, and it all differs on the node and what you put into it. But players will be able to choose to attack, defend, or ignore the caravan as it travels. So as you kind of come up, you you have a choice what you want to do. You're not necessarily always have to attack the caravan when you come and see a caravan. You can just help defend it and then get part of the quest. You
Right.
know, so I really,
Right. Yeah, I knew that.
yeah, I really like that. Or you can ignore and just keep on your way. Um,
So I do have a question on that.
yeah,
Let's say you sign up for a mayoral caravan. Um, when that caravan launches and you take off as a defender of it or whatever, do you automatically go purple? Are you automatically flagged as a combatant, or is it still a situation where if people decide to attack you, they are choosing to go red?
no.
Do you know?
So the caravan system exists kind of outside the flagging system. It has its own
Right.
flagging system. So if
Okay.
so as you kind of come up to the caravan, you choose to attack, defend, or ignore. That will dictate what uh, state you're going to be in for PvP. So it'll flag you basically based on that. So if you
You'll
do it,
basically be.
yeah. So if you attack or defend, it's going to flag you as a combatant, and if you ignore, you'll just stay normal. But
You
that
can't damage. You
yeah,
can't red.
yeah, you can't damage, you can't influence it at all if you ignore it. But
Okay.
and I don't know if it's gonna re-ask you. Maybe you'll only have one chance to choose what you want to do, but I don't know. I don't know if you leave and then go back up to it, it'll ask you again.
Okay.
So players will need to actually destroy the caravan itself to receive the goods and the resources out of it. You don't just kill the players around it and then stop the caravan. You actually have to destroy the caravan to stop the quest and to receive the loot out of it. Goods dropped will be a
So,
percentage. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Earthquake is saying that he thought you had to return to town to redeem your rewards from the caravan. So were you just about to
Yes,
get into that?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Proceed, Mr. Host.
Yep. So large goods will be dropped as certificates to redeem at the origin node for a portion of the goods. So not all goods are going to have to be redeemable. It's just large goods that can't be carried. So say you destroy the caravan and they drop an axle, and it's a really good axle, but you can't carry that because it's obviously too big. You can't carry a freaking axle as a player. You'll get a certificate for it that you can redeem back at the origin node, but then you can go ahead and apply that axle to another one of your caravans in response.
Okay.
So components kind of break down as the caravans, and not always, it's only a percentage based on what actually gets dropped, but you'll be able to gain a lot of different components. You'll have axles, you'll have chassis, you'll have wheels, you'll have the resources itself. There's going to be a lot more things that are going to be on the actual caravan for intricacies that help the speed, turn rate, and all that stuff that you're going to actually be able to influence. So, and pick up, which I thought was so cool. Like, I love how you can just take, get a component and say they even drop a rare resource with it, and you got that rare resource, and you get this these badass wheels that kind of can go off road and doesn't really matter. I feel like that's just like, it just makes me want to destruct it more and kill them more,
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So I wanted to get into the certificates you're going to be able to get upon when you actually create the caravan, because this kind of dictates the artisanship and like the relationship between what you can build and how you actually build your caravan. But you'll be able to create a caravan through certificates that are issued by NPCs within nodes at certain points of interest in the world. These certificates are comprised of multiple components. So you'll have axles that you're going to have to create. So like maybe blacksmiths will have to create the actual metal part of the axle, and whatever wood being, maybe they have to create that portion of it too. And then you'll be able to do armor ratings, so damage mitigation on the actual caravan itself. So that's something you're going to be able to dictate and change. Capacity, room the caravans have and how much they can carry. Chassis, hit points, maneuverability, number of hired NPC guards, speed, steeds, and wheels.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's all within the artisanship of what you can, the building blocks to the caravan itself.
To the caravan itself, right.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. Like, there's so much that goes into it.
I know.
And you could have, you could build like a slow moving, but essentially
a tank. Just build a badass tank, and then it's got like these badass wheels where it can go off road if need to, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
The slowest horses on earth. Or you could build like a super fast, just get there real fast and ignore everything along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could build a combo where it's the best of everything, tier 5 or whatever, the highest tier of everything.
Right.
And it's like, this is the tier caravan. That's really cool, man. That's really cool.
So you'll be able to influence that too, but you'll also be able to get better components as the nodes level up too. So like, it kind of goes hand in hand, and as your roads develop, you'll be able to go faster on your roads. You'll be able to navigate the world around in a direct path, so to speak. So you'll be able to really kind of make your caravan. It's almost like crafting a weapon in a way. You're trying to craft the weapon to be your best stats for your character. You're kind of creating the best caravan for your goods, so to speak.
Right.
And that all dictates on your paths, where you're at in the world, if you have to go from land to sea, what you're worried about, what if there's pirates out in the water with naval caravans and all that.
Right.
Very, very cool system. So I wanted to just touch on the roads itself, because I feel like the roads are going to be like so freaking cool. When I was reading this, I'm just like, man, the roads are going to be like something that's going to be next level. And it really kind of builds the world. It's almost like when Rome started building roads, like people can travel, and roads will not be safe, so you're going to know which roads aren't safe and which roads are safe.
Right. Assume.
or you assume, but roads will upgrade as nodes advance. Different roads will dictate speed and type of caravans as required off-road versus on-road. Bigger nodes will establish the main roads or arteries, as smaller nodes will connect to those main roads as veins. So you'll have these big roads that are in between big nodes and metropolis nodes. And mind you, this rises and falls as nodes fall. So these roads might go away. But as these main roads kind of carve the arteries, and then you get all these little smaller nodes, all the vassal nodes connecting to those roads, and they all kind of use like a network. And it's kind of like how life is, and how we do it. We have our highways, and then we have our small streets around our houses and stuff. So it's very, very cool. And it's so like, there's so many parallels to real life, but it works so well in this, a fantasy MMO, I just love that.
Right. So, and this is slightly off topic, but I'm going to bring it back around. But I'm currently playing a MMO, and I don't know if the first M, if massively really counts here. It's called Worm. It's WURM, and it's actually Minecraft's dad.
Right.
It was made by Notch, who made Minecraft, and him and the original creator that he created this game with, like, had a falling out over like stylistic choices or whatever. And so Notch left the project and went on to form Minecraft. So I think in the argument that them two were having, Notch was correct. I'm gonna say.
Oh
that.
yeah, Minecraft, dude. I hate Minecraft,
Yeah.
but I mean, I get why he did that. Yeah.
But the cool thing about Worm is that it is a very adult. It's an adult Minecraft, and it's
Right.
slow. It's a long time to do anything, and it's kind of a hardcore game and all that. But it has now it's not automatically generating roads between nodes um, Ashes has, but
right.
it has, you can make highways and you can make roads, and the player base does that of their own volition. And so there's all these roads that start connecting all these villages that have been built all over the map. And you get the same thing with the main roads and the little offshoot roads connecting or whatever. But it's almost like in this game, if your village doesn't have a road that connects to the main highway system that the players have built together, your village doesn't exist. It's irrelevant. You're a ghost. You don't, you're not there.
I like that.
And so Ashes would be the same way. I would say, if you don't establish a trade route, then you're a node in the middle of nowhere, and it doesn't matter, and nobody's ever going to go there, and you're never going to sell any goods and all that. And so that's really cool.
Yeah, and it almost makes me think, like, do you want that though? Like, maybe people want to be remote so they can't be found, but I don't know how that would level up their node and all that. Maybe they're just comfortable with having a town. But yeah, I mean, I like that, because like, you need to it's almost, you need to participate in society to be able to be a part of the world, and if it's like any colonization country, like, they don't want the people there that came there, but they like all the stuff that they brought,
Yes, that's exactly right.
Exactly right. So, I mean, it's really funny on those parallels between the game and real life, honestly.
Yeah. I to play Ultima Online, I used to tell people all the time that when they would be like, well, what's that like, or how, what, and I'm like, it's like real life, except for you don't need to eat or you don't die permanently.
Exactly.
Like, it had another real life. Like,
Yeah.
it was another life. And I don't think an MMO has come out that's that level of, like, covers all aspects of life like Ultima Online back in the day until Ashes. So it's going to be interesting. And there's definitely going to be some no-lifers that do 16, 18 hours a day and sleep 6, and that's it. That's their whole life is in Ashes. That's definitely going to happen.
Well, dude, honestly, I was thinking, like, all the people that are up late on a server, and say the server is kind of like the population's low at this certain hour, between like 2 to like 5 a.m., right?
Right. And
is that where they're gonna be running their caravans? Is that when, like, the big,
if you have half a brain, it will be.
Like, I feel like if you want to be strategic, you kind of have to play around the player, and play around high times. Otherwise, you're going to have to just risk a lot of your goods, and like we always been saying, like, how much does this create the conflict between players,
Yeah, they baked that into the game, man. There's going to be
in
you
almost every system that's baked in. Like, we always bring it up, it's just crazy how they do this. Nothing
well,
feels left out at all.
they have a vision and they're sticking to that vision.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's crazy, but I feel like that's what's going on. Is like there was somebody who had a vision for a game and they decided to make the game and they're sticking.
I
to
know,
that
right?
vision.
Oh, that's so crazy.
I was actually thinking about the pitch meeting YouTube channel
No.
or the pitch meeting. Seen those? Oh my god, you need to watch
All
those.
right, you send it to me.
Okay, it's the YouTube channel is Screen Rant, but they do these things, they call them pitch meetings, and it's this one guy and he's talking to himself. It's just he records both sides of the conversation, and
Right,
he's
I
pitching
like
a
those.
movie
Yeah.
to a producer guy, and it's always, I mean, they basically lampoon and make fun of movies and the stupid decisions and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm really thinking about doing a YouTube video that's a development meeting or a pitch meeting for video games. I don't know how I would.
We could do it with
describe
Intrepid. Yeah, that'd be fun, dude.
where it's
Yeah.
even pitching a game to a publisher,
Yeah.
and the publisher's like, well, why would you do that? Why would you give the fans what they want? And like,
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff. I've been thinking
All that
doing
banter.
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. Let's set that up. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I need more editing skills than I currently have
Yeah,
to
that's
do
what-
that. I'm not,
Yeah, that'll be easy. So one thing with the roads, and we'll circle back here, is they're going to be pre-generated. You're not going to just be able to establish your own road. They're there before you actually do them, and it's as the mayor starts the quest, that will kind of populate on the server and become live. And then as the caravan's going, he's kind of creating a trail behind him or a road behind him.
okay, civilization style.
And that's where I think a lot of the parallels between those RTS civilization style games and Ashes really, really come together,
Right.
with nodes and caravans traveling amongst those nodes. I feel like that's like the whole new. I don't even know if it's a new idea, but I feel like it's a newer idea, at least in new MMOs, to kind of mix these two games. You get your traditional style MMORPGs, but then you get your civilization RTS kind of games that come in here and kind of intertwine to kind of create conflict and player feedback, really.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on the stages of the node's advancement, capillary nodes will branch off from the nodes to connect to points of interest too. So you'll have like even roads that kind of just go nowhere or kind of just go to this point of interest on the map, which I thought was really, really cool in a way to kind of transform the roads itself. Aggressively passive person. Man, that's a long comment, but
it's I love the name, by the way, before you read the comment.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
I think everybody's pretty much aggressively passive these days. I thought AOC was somewhat disappointing development-wise since it was supposed to already release but is still in alpha. Then I just found out that the MMO Star Citizenship, which apparently has been developing in crowdfunding since 2012 and is still in alpha, raising around 350 million crowdfunding so far. So I guess AOC is just doing... AOC, I feel, they got pushed back, and Stephen has said, and that's what game companies do. They make deadlines that they can't meet, but that's like what game companies do. You wouldn't even know this if the game didn't come public, and you could see these alpha, and you can see behind the scenes, and all that. Star Citizen is just, I don't even know where to begin with that, man. I feel that's a money. Yeah. I know a lot of people got real triggered with that, but I like that. Even though the alpha for Ashes is $500, which is like crazy expensive, you look at other games that don't even have access to alphas, or if you do, they're long gone that you'll have no way of getting in. So I really like how Steven honestly opened it up to the players to be able to do it. Yeah, I think it's a little pricey, but I mean, it's still worth it. I've played it so far, and it's still
Yeah.
worth my money, honestly, at least in my opinion.
Right. Now, about the $500, I will say, you get like, is it 15? I think it's 15 months of subscription. So that's
Mm-hmm. 16, I think it
well
is.
over,
I think it's
well over
16.
$100 worth of value, and you get a whole bunch of the premium currency to buy stuff with. So
Yeah,
it's not purely $500 just for
for
the
the alpha.
access.
Yeah.
But as far as the development of the game, I was really concerned about that. I was really worried about that. I didn't know what we were going to be getting into when we got into that alpha, the alpha one that was last weekend, and I don't know if aggressively passive person, if you're in that alpha, but both Plate and I do have alpha one access, and I was concerned, especially that first 4 or 5 hours that they kept pushing back the start of the alpha. It was like supposed to start at 1 p.m. my time, and then 2, and then 5, and then
Right.
6. And it was like they kept pushing it back. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a total shit show. And of course, when they finally did go live, it was a total shit show for a couple of hours. They got it all squared away, and then everybody got to play, and everybody got to play pretty much all weekend without
Mm-hmm.
too much issue. And I have participated in a bunch of alphas and a bunch of betas for a lot of MMOs because I've been doing the MMO thing since 1998. And I've been around for at launch for basically every major MMO that you can name. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm being serious about that. And I've never seen an alpha state game as smooth and like as polished as this is. Now, I'm not saying
Right.
it is polished, but I'm saying that I've never seen one this polished.
I think it's
so
polished, dude, already before they even optimized and polished it even more. Like it's so smooth. Like just in this past,
way smoother than I thought it would be.
dude, in this past this past Thursday that we just had that test, man, I was just running around the world. And I'm like, I can't believe this fucking game is so smooth. Like I wasn't lagging. I was rubber banding a little bit, which they do have the rubber banding issue. But like I was just running around the world and I'm like, man, this is so incredible. Like I can't I was just so happy, genuinely happy that the game is it's living up to what our expectations are already. At least mine, I can't speak for everyone here, but from what I get, like I'm just like, God, this game is gonna be awesome. And I honestly didn't know if it was last year, or two years ago.
Right.
I didn't know
We were
because
concerned for sure.
yeah, a lot of people were, especially the ones
Mhm.
that invested so much time into it already, making content for it and doing all this stuff, the money, everything. Yeah, aggressively is going wild in the chat. They said they'll still add more of the visuals quite a bit. Yeah. So, oh yeah, the visuals aren't done in the game by any means. They're base. I looked at them all, they're base, but they're really going to make it that much better.
Yeah, no, the world's gonna pop big time when they
Big
add
pop.
all the
Mhm.
shaders and textures and lighting and all that stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
such a pretty game when it releases. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at how well it runs as far as um like I wasn't having lag issues and that sort of thing. Like
No,
we had
I
the rubber
didn't.
banding, that's a whole other
Yeah.
thing.
I didn't lag at all.
You
And
right.
I'm on the other side of the world. So,
And this is pre-optimization. Like this
Mhm.
is before they do all the server side and client side optimization and stuff. So yeah, I if I were you, man, I wouldn't be too disappointed with the development. I think that they're right on track, and I think that they are laying a groundwork, and they're building a foundation that's going to be really stable, and they'll be able to build
Right.
on. Like there's other MMOs out there, like Star Wars: The Old Republic is a good example, that was built on a really really shoddy foundation, and they are constantly having to spend
fix
development
it.
time that could go towards making new content. They're having to work around, build, fix whatever the shit foundation. And this game seems like it's being built on a really good foundation. So as far as I'm concerned, after Alpha 1, I'm all positive. Like my videos, which were like 70% positive and 30% negative before Alpha 1, have just gone 100% positive. Like I'm just all in. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
be great.
And as the game grows and it comes out, there's just all those videos are just gonna boom even more.
Yep.
Yeah. So just to circle back here with that, so there's one more thing I wanted to kind of cover with the roads before we go in a little bit into naval caravans, and then we'll wrap up. Different seasons. This is the cool thing. So different season and events may affect access to various roads. Some events may cause specific roadways to be blocked off completely, so you can't travel on them. Obstacles may present barriers on the roads that players must remove to allow transit of goods. Water turns into ice in winter, enabling players to walk across and access that road through that in winter, but not in summer, obviously. But then that blocks what's actually underneath the water too, so you can't go on, and it's just completely just a frozen path, so to speak.
Right.
And then
Right.
the ice is slippery and can make the caravan slide off and damage the caravans and stuff like that.
Okay.
So what I was gonna say with this is these elemental effects almost, and this is an example I was gonna bring up with. So say the volcano erupts, right? And then there's lava that goes over your path. So now, thanks for the follow aggressively passive. So now the lava goes over your path. So now you can go out with your crafters and mine the lava and maybe get some rare resource out of that. You'll get charcoal, maybe you'll get some like lava, obsidian glass or something that comes with that type of elemental thing. And now you're getting that for your crafters, but you're also fixing the road. And then there was a quest with that to go out and fix that blockade. It just kind of all gets different systems all kind of working as one just to do something simple like fixing a road so the caravans can go through.
Yeah, that's really cool. Is there an example of Steven talking? Like, are you using a specific example that they have used, or are you?
No,
kind of coming
I
out
was just kind of theory crafting a little bit on what they could do. But like
Right.
even with that, like even a wagon wheel breaking, there's a wagon wheel. Like you said, didn't you come up to a person that had a broken wagon wheel that they needed to fix and they wanted a crafter to craft them a wheel?
Well, that it wasn't that. It was. I think that from what I understand, just from what I saw, and from talking to some other people who were in the Alpha One, the system by which you could launch a caravan was actually in, but the ability for caravans to move on the map in a normal fashion was not in, and so this caravan was like on its side and was like wiggling towards wherever it was supposed to be going.
Right.
I think it was a bug. I think it was
Oh,
broken.
okay. Oh, that was a bug. Yeah. But that'd be cool though. Like you're going in your caravan, or you can't go on the road, or you can't, pass easy.
Right.
Frost kind of goes over the road, and now you're slipping all over the place, and now you gotta like go in there with like magic and try and burn down all the ice away so that you can actually use the road. There's just so many.
Right.
There's so many cool ways they can kind of do this, and the blockades that come into effect are completely just destroying the road because a world boss popped and he spawned by the road and he walked on it and it just crumbled all. So now there's going to be like almost like a monthly maintenance of keeping your roads well kept and in tune before you can.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's good.
And it makes me think, like, are you actually gonna is this gonna be something that people are gonna be designated on doing from your guild or from your node? As the mayor will reward you, as you do these things. So it's very cool. I really like honestly how much they're gonna be trying to fit that in and work with that with the
Let me
players.
ask you a question. I don't think it's something that we've talked about. Do you have mayoral aspirations? Like, do you want to announce your run? Do you officially want to announce your run for mayor?
I feel like I'm campaigning right now.
Yeah. Announce your run live on stream.
No, I'm not gonna run.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm sorry, man, but like, it's upon running a guild and then being the mayor and then having to coordinate everything and do all these things. I mean, I want to enjoy the game too. I don't want to just be constantly working through problems and trying to create. It is fun. I'm not going to lie. And I think being a mayor might, I know it will help me dictate how I want to grow the node and influence the node. But then I could be voted out next month and like, so I mean, it's hard.
I may be wrong about this, but I kind of feel like people are gonna grow comfortable with their mayor, and there's gonna be
Good
mayors,
ones.
maybe not node, but there's gonna be mayors that just get to run a node for really really long period. Like the election's gonna be a foregone conclusion every month. I could be wrong about that. I don't know.
No,
I've been
Yeah, I think
personally,
you're right.
uh, I've been debating with myself about whether I want to. Uh, Part of me wants to make like a tank that focuses on the fighting skills and
Hmm.
combat and raider and going out and taking out all of the PVE related content in the game. And a big part of that is because that's what I've done for a long time. But there's a part of me that wants to join or create like an artisanry focused guild, and our whole purpose in life is to make really badass goods that everybody across the world wants. That everybody's like, oh my god, they make the best goods. And then because settle in as the mayor of like some scientific node somewhere, and all we do is fucking craft stuff all day long. Like,
I
and I
thought
can't decide which of those two routes I want to go.
I thought about that dude too, and honestly, like I thought about being a trader and having a traders guild, and not even having a guild, just being a trader in a traders guild, and just going and doing my stuff, going about what a trader does, so to speak, and like I kind of fantasize towards it, but then I'm like, oh, like I like what I created, and I really like the way, and I want to see it play out. It's almost like sowing seeds into the game before you actually play the game,
Right.
and you want to see how they play out. So,
Right.
um, I think the
What
cool,
about chat? Does anyone in chat have mayoral aspirations?
yeah,
I
let's
kind
get
of want to talk
everybody
to somebody.
active. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. Like, is anybody planning on running for mayor or gunning for a mayoral position? I kind of want to talk to somebody who's like that's their goal or aspiration. So let us know. Um,
One thing I did find that was really cool between the each different nodes, like everyone has their own election system, right? Or how mayors become mayors. And I really like how the military node does it, where you're going to actually have to fight each other to become the mayor. And
right,
it's almost like the best PvPer becomes the mayor rather than.
right.
So
Hmm.
I don't know how that will go. I don't think, um, it might be the best solution when it comes to it. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've thought several times ever since I saw that I was going, I don't know that that's a good. I like so for an example, one of the things that I've hated my entire life, is I mean it's essentially what they call the Peter principle, but it's people getting promoted because they're a good employee, and so they get promoted to manager. And I'm like, the skills that make you a good employee are not necessarily the skills that are going to make you a good manager.
Right.
Matter of fact, usually not. And so all you've done is you've made your employee pool worse and your management staff worse. You've done both. Congratulations, you're an idiot. That's
Right.
kind of
Right. Right.
my take on that. And it's the same thing with the PvP thing. Like, what about
But that's why I think divine nodes are going to be like too, though. Like if you're in the clergy and you just do all the quests in the clergy and you become like one of the heads, and then however that ends up happening, you get mayoralship. Are you just going to be like just a figurehead and you don't really know what the fuck you're doing?
I mean, well, you're going to have to do something, and that's the thing about the mayorships and these nodes. If the node isn't being developed and producing, and the mayor isn't interacting with it and like making things happen, it's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go down. So, I mean, I almost feel like in order for military nodes to work at all, it's going to have to be a situation where everybody just agrees to take a dive and let the one organized guy win the damn tournament so that he can be the mayor, because the other people are going to sign up. Like, there's going to be, okay, go back. There are going to be people who are going to sign up for the mayoral tournament because it's a PvP tournament, not because they have any interest whatsoever in being mayor. And
Right.
then because they're good, they're going to win the mayorship and then do nothing for a month. And that node is going to stagnate and die.
Yeah. At
Um,
least for that
so
month. But yeah, I agree. Yeah.
yes. Um, so it's like I don't know that I've been thinking for a while now that the way that the military nodes pick their mayor is going to be. I feel like it's going to evolve. People are going to figure out ways to ensure that at least somebody who wants to be the damn mayor gets to be the mayor, or
Mm-hmm.
has some level of organizational skills or something.
Yeah.
Because I think early on you're just going to get you know high twitched up
Yeah. Yeah.
Year olds mayors.
Yeah, honestly. And the fact that it changes month per month could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, because
Right.
if somebody else wants to challenge them in a mayoralship duel or whatever it is in the arenas, and then you have to fight, it's going to be more so you're going to be fighting with your bodyguard or your mercenary type that you level up. And this isn't a full system yet. They're working on this and how to figure this out, but I think there's going to be it's going to be bad blood, it's going to be tough to hold that, but not going to say there could be a really great PvPer that's also really good at organizing things. And maybe they
It could be, absolutely.
are a great PvPer because of organizing things really well and organizing raids
Yes.
and such. So, I mean, on that front, I think, at least for my guild and how it works really well and how they correlate, is because the highest PvPer in the guild has parallels to my guild, because the highest PvPer in the guild is also the leader of the guild. Well, not necessarily leader, but leader of a clan that kind of influences the node and governs the node as our guild. But so the same parallels. So I necessarily want that person or someone of equal importance or higher to become the mayor, because
Right.
I know that they know how to lead because they got up at the top, and they've
Right.
been there and stuff like that. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what we're talking about here is really going to depend on how much fluctuation there is in nodes. My personal opinion, just
Especially,
based
yeah.
on like looking at life out there, is that these nodes are going to settle into like they're on the outskirts. They'll move up and down, but I think the metropolises will rarely ever get knocked down off of their metropolis ship. That's my opinion on that. And so if you get a highly stagnant situation on the nodes everywhere, then the mayor's changing every month, and then by proxy that means that that the vision for the node is changing every month. They're going to be tearing down buildings that the previous mayor just now built up, and it's going to be a situation where the only way you would want mayors to change frequently is if the nodes were moving up and down the levels all the time.
Yeah, and honestly, like, hopefully though that they make it a little bit harder to tear down the actual nodes and shit put before them, but maybe not. Like, if you guys had plans to build a temple and with one mayor, and then the next mayor comes in and you're like, no, we're not doing that. We're going solely on crafting. We need to get up our crafting. We need to get up our trade route, and all this stuff. Then yeah, they switch focuses. But that's why I think it's so diverse. Like we were saying, when you can log in, you don't know what you're going to be doing today. You log in, you might not be the mayor today, and then your whole guild and node switch different focuses. But that's why I kind of like the voting system, because it makes it fair. But I like the Brutus nature of military nodes and how they kind of run, and who's got the biggest sword type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I really love that. And I don't know if it's going to necessarily play to our strengths as the nodes, but I don't really care, because I just like playing the game and I think that'd be fun, Eventually someone's going to get in there that's really good, that's good at, going to be able to hold the spot. So I'm not too worried about it, honestly.
We'll see. Me, Mr. Girthquake says, I think military nodes will be guild controlled, gang up on the outsiders, fall for predetermined leaders. And yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. I think that at a certain point, everybody's going to be like, okay, this guy is the best leader. And so it's better for the node for me to take a dive against him. That way he wins the tournament and gets to keep the mayorship or whatever.
Right. Or he gets paid off. There's probably going to be a lot of payoffs between that too.
Oh, there's no question there's going to be a lot of payoffs.
Be like, you forfeit this tournament, you got yourself 1,000 gold, and you're just like, all right, fuck it. I don't want to be the mayor anyway. I just did it for the money.
I just wanted the gold. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. So we'll just touch on one last little topic with that and kind of naval caravans, which many of us plan to do. At least I plan to do a couple naval caravans, at least attack a few naval caravans. But naval caravans are capable of transitioning from land caravans at a point of intersection of land and ocean. And this is self-driven caravans. I don't know necessarily if this is going to be for establishing roads from mayoral caravans or and trade routes or quest-driven ones, but I can probably assume that there will be. So there will be a delay of 2 minutes while the caravan is transitioning, while the conversion structure spawns. So this is kind of like an opportune time to attack as a PvP player, which I love, and as caravans get blocked on roads or transition from land to sea, I feel like that's going to be a good strategic point to actually attack the caravan, because it'll be stopped and you can actually plan something. And the only downside is that the other players will know that they're on guard and they know that they need to be wary of an attack. So hitting them with the surprise element will probably be favored. But I just like that if you have to catch up to a caravan, there's a greater chance that you're going to be able to catch up to it because they've gotten blocked or they have to transition to land to sea or sea to land, vice versa. So I like how, like, I just picture me and like a group of my players, a group of my orcs, just fucking running, dude, and trying to catch this caravan. And then we finally get it, and then we like stealth, or we got our rogues just going and stealth in, and they go in and they're waiting by the caravan, and then we attack from the hilltop or around a rock corner, and they all get distracted on one side, and then the rogues pop up out of stealth and start backstabbing the shit out of them and then ganking them hard. And then we're attacking the caravan and getting the goods. So I just love like the different strategies you can do with attacking a caravan, honestly. Just from what the game's putting in, giving you, it's like, here, attack me.
Right. No, that's there's going to be a lot of different ways people are going to go about attacking caravans. Probably the best way is just going to be to have a lot more numbers than them. But
how would you attack it?
A caravan?
Yeah. Like if you just see, like you're planning a caravan strike, how would you go?
Well, I guess it would depend on if I was planning a caravan strike of a self-driven or a mayoral one, but because the mayoral one, you'll know the path. So I would just have people hiding in the trees or behind rocks or whatever in the path, and then we just jump out and preferably superior numbers or at least superior skill and just take them out.
Right.
The other one, the self-driven, I almost feel like, and I guarantee there's going to be people who do this, who just roll around in like, a full party, which is 8. So just 8 people just rolling around, and they're just hitting all the known hot spots for resource gathering. And they're just waiting to
find some dumb player bringing their caravan.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I think that's how that would go. So yeah. I don't know that stealth would necessarily work, but maybe it would. Maybe you just have a whole bunch of rogues who are just stealthed on the road, like they're living, and everybody also they just pop up. Bam!
They're prone, they're laying down. Ninja status. Yeah, that's just so cool, man. And it just makes me think like how many cool memories are going to be written in Vera and history, on this stuff, and how it's going to play out in real time, and kind of like who gets sabotaged and who doesn't. And like, if it's a known thing, like, the Raiders got sabotaged because they try to move all their goods from here to their Alliance node, and then they got hit by Virtue or something like that, and then they got all their, so I just feel like that's going to be really cool on what guilds do what and where we take and what we do with them. So
I agree.
Did you have anything else for the caravans today or no?
No, I was interested in what you had dug up about it. I mean, I could have gone and read myself, but
it makes it more fun.
Yeah, I get the raw reaction or whatever to it. It sounds like an amazing system, and to me, the node system is like the heartbeat of this game. It's the thing that separates it, because if you don't have the node system, we're basically talking about Black Desert Online or Arcade. Like it's just another PvP focused MMO.
Right.
But the node system sets it apart and makes it this crazy diversion from what we're usually playing, and so I'm excited about that. And the caravans are like the next most important thing, the next thing that sets it apart, that's gonna and it's interwoven with the node system, the two systems are gonna work so well together. I think it's gonna create
Very cool dynamic that I don't think we've seen.
yes, a dynamic that, yes, that we haven't really seen in MMOs probably ever, but if not, it's been since the late 90s, early 2000s. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait for that stuff to start getting put in the testing. I'm really hoping that we over the next few weeks we solve this rubber banding issue that they're dealing with.
Yeah,
And
they'll
to
fix
get that
it.
done. No, they will. I'm just hoping it happens quickly so that we can start going, okay, well, this week now we're testing castles, or we're testing the new combat rework or whatever. And it's not, hey guys, everybody jump in and see how long it takes till the server rubber bands. You know what I
Right,
mean? That
right.
I'm ready for that. But they've made a lot of progress in a very short amount of time. So I assume it'll be
Yeah.
fixed pretty darn, if not this week.
Yeah. Thanks, Moonhawking, for the follow. I appreciate that. Yeah, and
Yeah, man.
dude, I just want to see this thing take off, honestly, because there's so many people that are excited about this system, and just on like the market front, of establishing a network, and that network is going to be jeopardized and played with and influenced to all different ends. And I just love how it's really the foundation of people trading goods amongst the world. So, all right, guys.
It's gonna be cool, man.
With that, thank you guys all for coming. Please give us a follow if you haven't already. We appreciate all your guys' follows and all the new follows today and last stream. We are going to be streaming primarily on Twitch now for our shows, and then I'll edit it and come over to YouTube. So if you guys are on YouTube, please go over there and like and subscribe and share our videos. We really appreciate it, and we want to make this a fun thing to have everybody come and chat Ashes and really talk about everything with us, and make it so that there's more community interaction for us. But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
we usually go live on Friday or Saturday nights, primarily around 7 p.m. Eastern time. So
Yeah,
go ahead and check us out around then. I'll usually be tweeting out different taglines and stuff and news and schedules for when we go live. But I appreciate everybody for coming today, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.
bye, y'all.